Our journeys may differ, but the human desire to belong is universal. Hi, I'm Hema Ramanathan, a teacher educator, an author, a scribbler, and sometimes a podcaster. As someone called me, a pedagogical polymath. Welcome to the TheHemaZone, where I build bridges across diverse perspectives and cultures. Every first Wednesday of the month, I weave a narrative of compelling topic about life, the arts, music, books, and education. With age comes wisdom, but sometimes age comes alone. Guess that, didn't you, Oscar Wilde? Well, I firmly belong to the former, to the first, and I dare anyone to tell me different. And of course, most of the people I know do too, so you're okay. I was sitting around recently, which I tend to do a lot of nowadays, when I found myself thinking about something many of my friends and I are facing. The difference between retiring and growing old. By force of habit, I searched for the research on aging and came upon this. We are aging better. Meaning what? People in their mid to late 70s today walk faster than people 5 years younger did a generation ago. Essentially, our parents when 70 to 75 were less active than today's upper 70s. Yay for us! But aging well isn't just about how briskly we can get up to answer the doorbell. It's deeply tied to something far more elusive, our attitudes. Studies show that older adults who internalize negative attitudes about aging, I'm slowing down, my best years are behind me, oh, my personal favorite, everything hurts and I haven't even moved yet, actually perform worse physically and cognitively. They're less mobile, have poorer memories, recover more slowly from injury, are more susceptible to cognitive decline, and here's a clincher, they die on average 7.5 years earlier than those with more positive outlooks. 7.5 years wiped out by pessimism. Aging, it seems, is not just something that happens to the body. It's also what happens in the mind. So, no asking the grandchild to go get us a glass of water from the fridge. This was echoed by the dynamic fitness guru of the 80s. You remember her, Jane Fonda? In a panel discussion, she said she sees life as 3 30-year segments. Now 87, in her third act, she's determined to live in a way that ensures she dies with no regrets. Her guiding word, intentionality. She just doesn't simply drift into old age the way we drift onto the balcony and mentally judge our neighbor's parking skills. No, she shapes it, she studies it, she honors it. This intentionality should be our North Star. Because while aging is universal, how well we age is very much a matter of personal craft. Here's a distinction worth making, and worth making before someone else makes it for you. Retirement and growing old are not the same thing. Retirement is a life event. It's the moment we stop working for paid employment, often after decades of early alarms, packed lunches, boring meetings, and irritating colleagues. Growing old is a life process. The gradual, sometimes sneaky, physical and emotional shifts that shape how we move, think, and interact with the world. Retirement asks, what will I do with my days? Growing old asks, who am I becoming? Most countries have mandatory retirement ages of late 50s to 65. And then surprisingly, we're still around for another 15, 20 years, a whole new chapter. Enough time to start a new career. But those years do not fill themselves. Left unattended, they are disappointingly hollow, like an empty seashell. One of the tricky things about retirement is the identity wobble. For years, when someone asked, what do we do? We replied with our job title, teacher, doctor, manager, engineer. What we didn't say was, I read, or I run marathons, or I belong to a sewing circle, which is funny because those things often say much more about us and who we are. Retirement forces us to think, without a job, who exactly am I? Some find this liberating. Some find it terrifying. Some quietly take up gardening because plants don't ask difficult questions. Then there's a financial shift. Suddenly, money doesn't arrive each month with the bills. Instead, it sits quietly in an account, refusing to multiply itself. We become a keeper of our own funds. A replacement microwave or those smart rimless titanium glasses. Aging, on the other hand, often begins with tiny moments when strangers and children call us Paati or Grandma instead of Auntie. We become painfully aware of our physicality. The twinge in the knee, a sore back after sitting in a slightly judgmental chair, fingers that take their time closing around a jar of pickles, a recovery time that now stretches from tomorrow into next week. The last time all of my sisters and I met, and this is funny, it's an not quite common affair. We straightaway launched into detailed reports of our health. Aches, pains, lung capacities, upcoming doctor visits. Aging gracefully is just pretending we're not as sore as we actually are. Not because we are vain, but because we are paying attention. It also brings different questions than retirement. The awareness of time passing, of mortality, of the body quietly staging its own rebellion. Some of us raged, Dylan Thomas style. Do not go gentle into the quiet night. Rage, rage against the dying day. While others think, well, gently sounds nice actually. Once the routines of working life fall away, the question becomes, what now? Friends and relatives offer unsolicited advice, but enthusiastic advice. Take up a hobby or you'll become impossible. Get out of the house. So we do. Many turn towards spirituality, temple, church, meditation, or the unofficial religion of volunteering. Some take up crafts, knitting, crochet, embroidery. Sewing becomes tricky with aging eyes, but we persist, squinting heroically. Some of us discover long-lost loves, library cards, bookshops, the joy of reading without guilt. And then there are the puzzles. Sudoku, Wordle, connections, the entire arsenal of games designed to give us the illusion that we are sharpening our minds while avoiding housework. The WhatsApp groups buzz every morning with, I finished the mini crossword in 54 seconds. We congratulate ourselves quietly, believing we're holding Parkinson's at bay with every complicated and completed grid. Our own soft version of raging against the dying of the day. One of the promises we make ourselves is, I will remain independent. We tell our children, don't worry, I can manage. As long as there's Wi-Fi and Dolo 360, I'll be fine. And yet we eagerly wait for the weekly FaceTime call, the small faces, the big news, the enormous silence when they get bored and wander off. If we are Indian parents, we often become seasonal babysitters during summer holidays. Not because we have to, but because we're secretly flattered to be needed. Some of us decide it's time to travel. We dust off the bucket list, run a cost-benefit analysis involving our needs, and then think, yes, let's go before mountains begin to seem like unreasonable suggestions. And slowly, inch by inch, habit by habit, we find a rhythm. A rhythm that feels like it might last. So, retirement and aging, one is a milestone. The other is a journey. Both ask for reflection, both ask for courage, and both offer, if we let them, a chance to live with purpose, clarity, and just enough humor to soften the edges. As Jane Fonda reminds us, the goal isn't to stretch life endlessly, like cling film, but to live in such a way that when the end comes, we can say with great satisfaction, I have few regrets. Intentionality is the key. And just like the second act of our lives, the third is ours to shape, gently, stubbornly, joyfully, into whatever we want it to be. Thanks for listening as I mused on the fact of life, of aging. Share this podcast. Follow the TheHemaZone on Instagram. Catch me on Facebook at TheHemaZone. And scribble me a note on my webpage, TheHemaZone.com, about milestones and journeys in your life. The next 4 Wednesdays of every month, in the new series, Second Wind, Creative Journeys at Sunset, I'll be talking to people who've designed, sustained, spirited, creative journeys through years of quiet retirement. The first Wednesday will nurture the curious, empathetic child in all of us, the part of ourselves that isn't afraid to explore, dare, take risks, and celebrate both success and failure, whatever be our age.